Cheers.
Everybody here?
Yeah, there's-
Right? Everybody here?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're missing two, that's why we're videotaping.
Rusty's not trying to rush you, but you have 30 minutes.
Cool. I just want to thank everybody for today. I want to go around the room, introduce Sysco team, Ted Bean, President of Sysco Detroit, Vito Manzella, Director of Sysco Detroit, Jody Hartson, Director of Grand Rapids, Lisa Reynolds, CSM Vice President, Business Development, Pat Gibson, Sysco Grand Rapids, and myself. If you guys could go around the room real quick, introduce yourselves.
Rusty, you want to lead us off?
Yes, Rusty with Global Education.
Glenn, Penfield Schools.
Harry Simcock from Spark.
Deb McDowell, Union City Community Schools.
Thank you. Lisa's gonna run the computer here for me.
I
So-
came in just to push the button.
So we put together a proposal for Spark that we think is a great overall program, given our history together, all the years together, after we went through the RFP. Here's the basic outline of what we're gonna be going through today for the presentation. There's something I wanted to address that we're gonna hand out in the books that are coming out later and on Friday. So we got a list of 25 questions from the board that you guys wanted us to address in the presentation. So we answered the questions kind of RFP style. It's all gonna be written out, like I said, it'll be in a handout later. There's a couple questions I wanted to address right off the board. So the first two questions listed were the questions about the Upper Peninsula and it being serviced out of our warehouse in East Wisconsin, in Jackson. First part of that is deliveries and frequencies. It would be no different than the rest of the state. When we're in the market area and the delivery size that's outlined in the RFP. There's a minimum delivery size outlined in the RFP. Same would hold true for that area. Again, there would be some limited service areas just because the rural part up there, there's some rural pieces here that we're only in at minimum 2 days a week. So none of that would be any different than it is downstate. The other piece of that question is NOI items, drawdown items, fee-for-service items, DoD produce. To understand a little piece of that, we have to understand the fact that the warehouse that's servicing the UP is coming out of East Wisconsin. Every state agency is different. So Wisconsin, in talking to the Sysco opcos there and talking to ex-food service directors from Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin, whatever their Department of Education is, like MDE, they don't encourage schools to use NOI, fee-for-service, or DoD. They're very much in the dark ages. Michigan is very much advanced. You have one of the most progressive school lunch programs, the way MDE runs it, across the country. That being said, East Wisconsin has the ability to do NOI, fee-for-service, DoD. The biggest piece of this puzzle is that we would need a lot of assistance from Spark as a whole with the school districts that they sell up there to have clear communication and understanding the products that are needed to go with those diverted pounds, the drawdown pounds. Identify those, specify those for that marketplace, make sure those items are on the menus for those schools so that stocking those items is not an issue for East Wisconsin because they're on the menus and they're being utilized. Stocking the items, crossing our fingers, hoping the schools use them, that's not gonna help. It's not gonna help anyone in that party. So clear communication on the program, how it runs, the items, where you put your pounds, what the items are to draw down, how we menu the items is what would be needed for that program to be successful in that market area up there, if that makes sense. A couple more questions further down. I think they were like 20, 21, 23 were if items are out of stock and they go to another item, are we getting bid pricing? You're getting bid pricing on everything. Everything's gonna have essentially bid pricing. If we look at the CSM program that you're on right now, about 50% of the items either stocked at Grand Rapids or Detroit are on a CSM program. So we have a CSM program available. The other question is, if a school places an order, they meant to order 2 cases and they order 20 cases, is that caught? Well, it's caught a few different ways. So in Sysco Market, there's a feature that once the order's placed, a confirmation comes back to the email attached to that account, and it shows the order to the food service director. And they can see what's allocated, and they can see their order. So they can see if they made a mistake, they have a set of eyes there to catch it and see if they made a mistake. In addition to that, we get a report a couple times a day. I get one at noon, I get one at 4 o'clock, and it shows me what schools are in, what schools are routed for the next day, what schools may be out of stock on items. That's when we start to communicate with the schools what we want to do about those items. And then anything that was ordered over a larger variance, so it shows big orders that they don't normally order. A couple times we've contacted schools and found out they did mean to order because they had a catering event, or they had a special event, or in the new brown box policy, they knew they had to get their usage on brown box set to a certain number by a certain date, so they filled their back room with about 3 different brown box items so that that would happen. So it flows through multiple areas and there's multiple set of eyes. Worst case scenario, if that happens, one suggestion I always tell the schools is once you transmit your order, you have the ability to print like a receipt report of your order and give it to whoever's receiving the order next day. If that person receiving the order knows they always get 2 cases of apples and there's 20 cases of apples in there, that's going to be a 4th set of eyes that says, that's not right. So, if that helps. Does that make sense? So the rest of those questions will be answered, like I said, RFP style inside the binders that are coming out later. So Pat is going to take over here.
Thanks again for letting us come. I've never been nervous talking in front of you before. I'm nervous today. So. This is. I knew Rusty was going to say something.
No, this is
Was Glenn? Oh, man. This is our vision. This isn't our vision just for Spark. This is our vision for all of our customers at Sysco, to be the most valued, trusted business partner. And that's been our vision since 2005, since we partnered with Spark. When we were looking at the RFP, not yet, well, you can leave it up there. So on the RFP at MDE, with the new procurement rules, MDE was heavily weighting the markups and the cost, the actual price, the cases to do business. And we looked at that and said, you know, we don't want to pull away the programs that make Spark unique, that make you different from the other consortium. So Sysco said, you know what, we're gonna make an even greater investment in your business over and above what we already do, and further that partnership to give you the best overall program out there in the entire state. And so that's what we've done, and we're gonna explain that even further in the RFP. Including some cool new incentives I'm sure you saw for marketing our program, not just so we can go out and get more business and grow, because that's really what it's all about, is growing the program. Quality assurance. So there isn't another distributor out there that's better equipped to provide quality assurance. For all of these things in place are throughout the country. We have people in the fields. We send pictures from the fields. We send videos from the fields. We're the best distributor we're in the world. We're really the safest food chain in the world. And all of these things talk about that. Traceability. So with the group that we deal with, the K-12, the younger group, they're the most susceptible, one of the most susceptible groups to illness, to foodborne illness. So with our traceability, with the recall programs and traceability, we know exactly where that product was from the field right to the person that's eating it. And all along the supply chain, we can pull those items out. And our automated recall system, if anything ever disrupts or isn't quite right in that chain, we have the system in place to make sure that you know right away. I help out on a local farm. I've told that story a million times. Deb knows the Acme farm. And the lady that does all their paperwork for the farm, she gives me a hard time, tongue in cheek, because when she's processing tomatoes that go into a Sysco can, she has about 10 more pages of paperwork that she has to fill out. So it's not something that Sysco just talks about, it's something that I can actually see in practical experience that, hey, this does go on. We keep track of all these things. We're, in the industry, we're one of the largest K-12 food service providers in the industry nationwide. There are 3 school management companies in the world, the largest school management companies in the world. They choose Sysco to be their partner. And Aramark is one of those companies. 51% of the entitlement comes from Aramark schools in your group that choose Sysco. They are contracted to use Sysco for their commercial, and they choose Spark to use for their commodity products. Some of you, we started researching this a little bit, and we were talking, Kathy Gutowski actually gave me some dates, and Dan Nagelkirk gave me some dates, and it's been 12 years. So halfway through the school year in 2005, Sysco took over from TLC, and I'm sure there's a couple of you that remember the old days, the truck backing up with TLC. What's going to be on the truck? Am I going to get those cases? Am I not? What am I going to get? So it's kind of neat to look at that and look at the history and see where we've come from those days. With the team that we've got in place and all the people in place that are here at Sysco to help Spark, we figured out we have over 100+ years of experience in it. Devin, we were just talking, it's been 17, almost 20 years since we've been dealing with Union City. And so those teams and those experiences help create everything that we bring to the table as Sysco to Spark. I thought this was cool. We helped you serve 7.2 million meals to students last year. That's just amazing. That, to me, that's, besides all the extra stuff that you guys have to do paperwork-wise, that you have time to serve 7.2 million meals is really something. So to talk a little bit about 2016, where did I go?
They're gone.
Oh. I'm like, well, I thought I had to have that up there. This was just some things that really kind of bring to light exactly what we did last year and what you did